Alright. Hello, my fellow stray cats. This is Plozible here, and today we're going to be doing a podcast discussing Death Battle's Ganondorf versus Dracula matchup. And here with me today is. Come on, introduce yourselves, guys.
I guess I go first then. I am the Dat
Yeah.
Attack.
Come on, go introduce yourself, Dat Attack.
I did. I said I am the Dat of the Attacks.
Oh, alright. Then now you introduce yourself, Yoshikage.
Hi, I'm Yoshi.
And his stand pillow queen is going to be with us.
Stop!
But seriously, guys, we're going to be addressing some Dracula versus Ganondorf. We're just going to talk about the match, some thoughts about it, yada yada yada. Maybe come to a conclusion on who wins. So, actually, where do you guys think that Ganondorf should be with his attack, like with what he should be able to strike with?
Well, to be honest, I think he could easily destroy the universe. Like we've seen in A Link to the Past, that his mere existence is what's keeping the Dark World alive.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that as well. I mean, there's also didn't Yuga Ganon basically say that he was going to devour the world within A Link Between Worlds?
Yeah, in A Link Between Worlds, Yuga Ganon, not Yuga Ganon, well, Hilda states that Yuga Ganon's appetite will consume both Low Rule and High Rule.
Yeah, so from what we can at least garner from that, I guess, I think Ganondorf should be on the level of multiple universe level, low multiverse.
Yeah.
And by the way, our Dracula expert or our Castlevania expert case will be Yoshikage today. So, Yoshikage, where do you think that Dracula would be?
I say at the very least he'd be universe level as well due to multiple feats you have in Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, where he warps the entire castle and universe, which is in itself an entire time.
Oh, all right. Does he have any other low? Does he have similar low multiverse feats?
He also, a rather sure scale, the Time Reaper, has the capacity of destroying multiple universes.
So yeah, I think overall we can all agree, obviously, that both of them have similar attacks and how they would be have strength, right?
Yeah. They're definitely around the same strength from there alone.
So, in regards to speed as well, I think obviously speed is one of those other important factors. Where do you guys think that we place both of them?
Well, I know for sure that Ganon can dodge light arrows, which are just outright light speed. They're consistently called the speed of light or just being made of light. They can reflect off of mirrors, so they're definitely legitimate light speed, and Ganon can just casually dodge them in fights.
But what does he have any other light speed feats as well?
There's also Breath of the Wild Link, who can view a laser beam, which is already called a beam of light, just in slow motion, and dodge it, and time it enough to just reflect off the shield attack.
More on that case, in the same game as the light arrow dodging feat, Ganon is capable of pretty much blitzing Link in some instances, where Link can dodge lasers in that game.
Yeah.
So, alright, so obviously we have Ganondorf at FTL as well, and I guess we're just basically going case by case in this to see, obviously we all agree beforehand that their attack was around the same, so so I think Dracula is FTL is faster than mine as well, right?
I can agree with that, yeah, due to laser feat.
We're gonna have to add all this in later, but with how this is going, obviously, when you take their feats, we already somewhat discussed this beforehand, I guess, which was we all had the idea that they're around the same level of physical strength and what they'd be able to hurt with each other, and what they can attack with, with their speed. So I think this mostly comes down to abilities, if I'm right.
Yeah, it definitely does.
And I guess Death Battle, as of recently, has gotten better with their at least portraying abilities as well. I know for a fact that Death Battle has been really bad with portraying what abilities are in the past. it's usually who's stronger and who's faster, and that's the person who wins. But
It's sometimes not even really who's faster. Like, they outright admit sometimes that person, like, FTL, while this other person's, like, only faster than lightning, yet the person...
Massively hypersonic.
Yeah, massively hypersonic, yet the person that's massively hypersonic will still win. Just because they say, like, well, yeah, they can't... If they get one hit on him, he wins.
so, yeah, in terms of how they are recently, though, it has factored in some abilities, like, I think the one I can think of is within the Mega Man Battle Royale, they had like certain abilities like the rewriting with Mega Man.exe. What are other examples you guys can think of?
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of a death battle right now that use abilities.
Like I think. Oh yeah, Ben 10 versus Alien X.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben 10 versus Green Lantern.
Yeah. Ben 10 versus himself.
All right.
But yeah, Ben 10 versus Green Lantern is definitely where like you can see them taking hacks into account instead of just purely speed and strength.
And when I believe from outcome explanation for the most recent episode, Sasuke versus EA, they covered resistances and hacks counters alongside.
So yeah, I guess this does allow us to at least segment into like abilities and who's got the better abilities to win a fight. Or
This is the hardest one for me because from what I understand when we was talking about beforehand, they're pretty much like neck and neck with how their abilities work. Like you either have a counter for each other, or there's just either the ability doesn't matter to the other person, or they can regenerate from said ability.
Yeah, like how I think Dracula, he has like he can like erase your existence and all, right?
Yes.
Like I forgot what instance he did that in, but like what was the instance again?
Well, sure. Some instance alongside scaling.
I think it's that and that like
Soma erased death from existence.
yeah, isn't death like isn't it like he like a conceptual being as well?
Yeah, he's the.
But then you have like Ganondorf, who's also conceptual and has like other conceptual abilities with like how in not Twilight Prince, Breath of the Wild, he's like malice and he's like the embodiment of it, and he's like able to like control that, right?
This dad, and also like in the new Link's Awakening, funny enough, the nightmares outright state that they embody nightmares itself, and Link can disarm them with his magic powder, showing that like magic is very powerful in the verse that can even affect people that are just abstract representatives of said concepts.
So obviously, when it comes down to Ganon versus Dracula, they both have like really cool conceptual abilities that can harm each other. So it's like they've got multiple like different cases with this as well with their abilities. Like they have like they have abilities that the other have. They have like elemental attacks. I think both of them are not don't like holy weapons all that much, right?
Yeah.
And with that, actually, Ganondorf does have the one sword within Twilight Princess, like the Sword of the Six Sages. So that definitely could affect Dracula, like do some good damage to him. But I'm not sure. Does Dracula have anything holy himself, or?
It depends, to my knowledge, if you include Soma within composite Alucard.
Composite Alucard versus Ganondorf.
Yeah, we changed up the match, but what does Soma do? Like, I have some understanding at least, but Soma is like I think Soma's like the reincarnation of Dracula or something like that. I think that they're in like I don't remember the exact game, but I know that they come later on with like Julius Belmont and all that.
So they have attacks consisting of like crosses and such, which have.
So yeah, I guess if we're using Dracula as well, with like if we include Soma, which he technically should be Soma from what's been said.
Yeah.
Both of them have other ways of exploiting weaknesses. I do think obviously Dracula can be a damage outside of holy weapons. Same thing with Ganondorf, but comes down to those are technically weaknesses for them, but like I think both of them resist it to a degree, but they still have weaknesses to it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's more effective against them.
It's like the only thing that can really harm them per se. Because like anything else
Like
in the verse, like usually can't harm them. Like they're like contextually invulnerable to any form of harm usually.
yeah, people are gonna bring up how Ganondorf gets harmed by a mop.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and they're killed by a stick.
To give some context to that, because that is an argument I see used a lot. The thing that people have to understand with the entire harm by a mop thing is not only is that not canon whatsoever, but in games like the original Zelda NES, where you can see him harmed by the wooden sword, he has right before he uses the wooden sword to attack Ganon, he like brings up the Triforce of Wisdom, which really just negates Ganon's abilities, like basically his invulnerability and stuff, because the Triforce pieces can counter each other.
Oh, I also thought of, like, now that we bring up the Triforce, I think it's, like, something we should bring up as well, is that technically through the Triforce that Ganondorf does have protection from the Golden Goddesses,
Yeah.
because, like, in Twilight Princess, I believe there was a scene, yes, it regarded the 6 sages, technically there were 7 of them, but, like, there's, like, 6 now, because Ganondorf killed one of them, but, there was like a divine prank that was played on them, yes, and then afterwards, so Ganondorf does have protection from the Golden Goddesses, but if I am correct, I do think that doesn't Dracula practically have a similar thing as well?
Yeah, he has protection from chaos, God, and death.
So like, basically,
And in the terms of death, it's like he controls the very strings of death itself, and so they're manipulated into his favor.
I think both of them also resist. I'm like have some of them have like resistances to conceptual abilities as well.
Yeah.
Doesn't that, I think with how like the vampire killer works, at least I think I remember it being said, at least by some people, that they're like bosses within Castlevania that are like basically right. They're the abstraction of stuff, and then like the vampire killer can kill them, but then like Dracula can like tank attacks from them and all that, and then like can erase death, obviously. And then what's the case for Ganondorf? I don't remember that exactly.
Well, there's a couple of cases. For one, there's this misconception in Twilight Princess that the thing we see of Ganon is his soul, but if you read the Hyrule story, it actually confirms that this isn't his soul, but instead his malice, which is his very conceptual form, since he embodies the concept of malice itself. And the Fused Shadows can harm this form. There's also the Master, but he can like resist hits from the Fused Shadows, obviously. There's also the Master Sword, which can like smite evil itself, and it's like consistently stated to like fight the very concept of evil. There's light arrows that are stated to be able to pierce through the concept of evil itself. So there's a lot of weapons that are like conceptual attacks that Ganon can resist.
I think honestly with what Dat Attack brought up, right, it's like the problem is both of them have abilities, but the other will resist them or counter them, or they just like they literally have the exact same similar types of protection. It's like the abilities that they have are like rather dumb. You got anything else you guys would like to add on? I think
I just want to bring a very popular thing that comes with Dracula and versus is quota soul steal. The ability to steal soul, and how that can be used as a point in the death.
But rather sure again, Ganondorf resists that. Dat Attack. You remember that instance or something like that?
Yeah, there's a couple of instances where Ganon can resist soul hacks, but it's also the fact that he can live without his soul regardless. Like he doesn't need it to exist, basically.
Yeah, and then like rather sure that maybe another factor might be the fact that like Ganondorf technically has the Twilight magic, which means he'll get all of Xanth's abilities.
Yeah.
So like Ganondorf can also possess people with Twilight. He can do other things like teleport people, like warp the area around them. He can I think Zant can turn people into like other forms. Like he made Midna into like an imp, like a smaller form.
Yeah.
And the thing about Zant is that, like, I'm pretty sure just being touched by the darkness in the twilight manipulates your emotions and basically makes fear.
Yeah.
But again, doesn't like Dracula resist all of this though?
Yeah, but it's a fun point right now.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot I think it's the castle that invokes all that stuff, right? Like,
Yes.
what does the castle do again, then?
The castle has a bunch of cases of, like, corrupting the minions and enemies inside Dracula's castle, and the lore behind these enemies basically gives it a lot of hacks and some statements.
Yeah. By the way, obviously, when we put up pictures in this video, it's like related to like what we're talking about for this instance. So it's not going to be completely unrelated footage or like whatever when we bring up this stuff. So, I guess, where do you guys think that you find yourself siding with other? Like, you have anything else that you think would be kind of interesting to bring up for like a talker now?
Well, I got an interesting point. Ganondorf's nose, as we can see here, is pretty big. I think no one's going to disagree with that. It's a pretty big nose. I don't think Dracula can count that nose.
You're right.
Oh, and I think we can all agree to this. Both of them resurrecting is obviously won't be used in the combat because, well, technically, both of them can like resurrect like generations later and all that. Comes down to that the resurrection's not going to be used in Death Battle. They don't use anything like that, I think.
It would be kind of funny to see them wait hundreds of years to fight each other again after one kills the other.
I mean, that'd be fun.
Both of them are technically like able to do that. They have like immortality to them. Like,
Yeah.
if they die, like they have like they don't die to like natural stuff and all that. So like they're able to like live for a really long time. Like Ganondorf able to like live all the way from like Ocarina of Time to the events of Twilight Princess, technically.
I mean, if you
And
want to be technical, he can like basically have more like rifles of power.
yeah, because of that protection again. It wouldn't really be a good weapon. Like you really wouldn't have a great weapon if just like imagine if Sonic had the Chaos Emeralds and then just like some random point where he was being like he's just kind of old. He just kind of died during the middle of this transformation, just because. Oh no, he died because of like a heart attack during his super form. Like that would be such a bad power up.
Yeah, but yeah,
For me, sorry.
Yeah, I see this going honestly either way. I'm gonna play the fanboy bias since I'm a Zelda fan and go with Ganondorf for this.
What do you think that this would go Dark Paladin?
That wasn't what you called me in the introduction.
See, we change up names. I mean, I'm plausible, but
So, along with what Dat Attack said, I'm kind of just leaning towards either way. It's kind of inconclusive in my eyes. I mean, of course, I've been playing Zelda longer than Castlevania, but I do like Dracula a lot, so I don't really have a decision to make here. I'll just say
as for myself, I think I would agree with the exact same thing of an inconclusive match because honestly, it comes down to who throws out the better abilities in the end, right? Because both of them have a similar speed, they both have a similar attack potency to them. Ganondorf has like a lot of abilities, but Dracula also has like a lot of abilities. Dracula can resist a lot of those abilities. Same thing with Ganondorf. They both have like a protection from like a powerful being as well, which like won't allow them to die. So it might be to where they actually start fighting each other, but those beings don't let them die. So it's like a stalemate to where like, oh, Dracula gets like knocked down, but then Ganondorf gets knocked down as well, and then like the goddess is like, no, we can't let you die just yet. You have to keep fighting for us.
Yeah.
Oh, and look at this very sweet thumbnail that I dropped down below. You know, this is gonna be great for the video, man.
His nose is big enough.
No, you see, actually, in terms of the death battle, where do you think they'll put both of them? Because death battle as of late has been, I guess, somewhat good with putting characters up to like their symbol levels. Like, I think they had King DDD up at low multiverse or something like that. I don't remember. They had like, he fought like
My question is, what if they put Ganon at Ganon?
For Ganon versus Bowser, actually, I kind of forgot where they put him. I think I could pull up the actual official death battle analysis right now, because that actually is rather interesting. Because also, just a fun fact for some people, apparently, I heard this from a friend of mine, but there was a guy that was planning on making a comic for Dracula versus Ganon back in 2010. He was a guy on the Death Battle team or something like that. It was like 2010 or 2012. I can't remember when Death Battle was actually made. I think actually it's probably 2012 because I think they were made in 2011.
I thought Death Battle was made in 2000.
Wait, I don't remember exactly when it was made. But the official script, I'm looking at the Death Battle wiki. It doesn't really mention it. I think maybe it's on the Death Battle canon wiki is where it'd be mentioned. They mention they mentioned possession. They mentioned teleportation. His electric most of light from like obviously Ocarina of Time. Spirit Riders, the Dark Trident, the dual swords from like Wind Waker. He's created by Den, is he the Triforce of Power? He has the Bearer of the True Power, which gives him immortality, nigh invulnerability, and this is what they mentioned for him. And that he can dodge arrows point blank, possess the Soulless Zelda, curse the Deku Tree, and defeated the Hero of Time. So, I don't see really any outright attack potency feats that they have listed for him. I'm guessing that they might have him relative to Link, because Link's also appeared in like Cloud versus Link as well, right?
Yeah.
That's a controversial of it.
We could probably
Both characters were dumb.
We could talk about that. Both of them got downplayed, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh yes. I don't think they have any actual listed like. I'm trying to find to see if there's like a transcript, but I don't think so.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay. So, never mind then. When you go on the Death Battle wiki, all that... Oh, never mind. This is Dracula versus Ganondorf. This is Ganondorf versus Bowser. I was looking at the page for, like... I thought that they didn't have a transcript and they're just being lazy. With what they mentioned for Ganondorf, they said that pretty evil, that he was a guy named Ganondorf. Wiz says, "Don't you dare!" Upon his defeat, this is a bunch of background. He became an evil pigman. They talk about how he. Oh yeah. I think the best hit that they probably bought for him was literally that he brought down a castle. Like he brought down Hyrule Castle and then survived it.
Oh, yeah. Lots of people try to use that feat.
So. Yeah, that was the only, they brought up him also bringing down stone pillars, so I do hope if they do this death battle that they really don't think that he's just going to be like, where do you think that like having Hyrule Castle fall on you like would make you?
City.
Yeah, like a large, like a.
If you're talking about Breath of the Wild, Hyrule Castle would be much higher.
No, it's just the Ocarina of Time one.
What's funny about it is that there's like a feat in Ocarina of Time. I think it's in either the Hyrule story or one of the guidebooks that like outright state that Ganondorf like passively warped the Sacred Realm upon entering it.
So yeah, Ganondorf upon entering other dimensions and stuff can literally just like warp their So that's very nice, but obviously Dracula probably resists something like that, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's like this comes down to, oh, this person has this, oh, well, they resist it.
Oh, does Dracula resist reality warping? Yes.
Oh my god, imagine if Dracula didn't resist reality warping.
He'd be dead because he sits in the castle one.
Imagine like creating your own. Yes, imagine creating your own castle, just like you're ready to take on all of humanity because you despise them, and then you get like that you get like immensely destroyed, and then like you get like warped by your own castle and die to it.
Well, Yosh, you need to remember that Jonathan Joestar does beat off Castlevania.
Oh, you're.
Oh yeah, we should all remember that how Jonathan Joestar is going to take down Death is because he's going to put his Hamon into the ground, and then it's going to somehow affect Death.
The argument was that he's going to grab the scythe and then make it Hamon and throw it back at Death.
He touches it and he dies though.
Like, I understand that like it comes down to that Jonathan Joestar has Hamon, yeah, but I don't think it could affect Death. I think does Death even have like a solid form to like attack?
Pretty sure.
He's like non-corporeal, right? He's like an incorporeal. He doesn't have any like physical forms. So what's gonna happen there is that if we have any physical attacks, obviously, Jonathan's gonna throw that scythe, not gonna do anything.
All right, well, we're going off topic regardless.
So yeah, sorry we went a bit off topic. I guess it was mostly just talking about the fun of it. That obviously Ganondorf's gonna be able to like interact with like Dracula and people like be like non-corporeal and stuff because he can affect the stage. He's like a ghost and stuff. But yeah, I think that this is gonna be it for this. I don't really know what to add other than just like it obviously is gonna come down to with who Death Battle think is gonna have greater resistances and stuff, and like who it's gonna be that one ability that manages to trump either Dracula or Ganon. But I think I'm fine with either of them winning. I think Ganon more personally, but I do really like Dracula as well. So I think either of them could win from what we established earlier. But that's it. I'd like to thank Dat Attack for coming on. You too, Yoshikage.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and shameless plug-in again. Subscribe to Dat Attack.
Subscribe to
Hit that like button. Totally did not steal that from Dat Attack.
Steal my stuff again.
We're ciao. Don't kill me, Dat Attack.